Hey guys, MCU Collector here with another figure review. Next up is the Hasbro Marvel Legends series Thor Love and Thunder Korg Build-A-Figure Wave. Here we have Groot. This is the last figure in the wave to review before we look at the Korg Build-A-Figure. But first I want to talk about the how I got this, because I know it's going to come up in the comments. People are always going to ask. Walmart got some of these. These don't officially go up for order until April 26th. That is the official street date. All the sites will have them put up for order. Some sites will have them in stock. Some sites will have them as pre-order. So I don't know. Even Dan Yoon had tweeted out that it depends on the market, location, which website. All those different things are going to factor in. I would imagine you're going to be able to order on Tuesday, April 26th through somewhere, and they will be in stock. Likely Pulse will have them in stock, similar to what Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings wave, Mr. Hyde Build-A-Figure, how that went about on whatever the street date was. They went up for order and they were in stock. Target might be the same thing, so you just have to kind of get on the lookout. But Walmart had them for a while. There was no register block. Then all of a sudden, after a couple of days, there was. So if you see them at Walmart, you may not be able to pick them up quite just yet, but hopefully they'll have them on the 26th. So again, there's no pre-order links, none of that, not until April 26th. Anyway, we have the Thor Love and Thunder logo there. We have the busted ass Mjolnir up there in the corner. It says Marvel's Korg. Side artwork of Groot looking pretty cool. I think I like it. The figure itself is basically a repaint of the previous one that we got in an Infinity War 3-pack. However, and I didn't realize this until fairly recently, we have a new head sculpt on this guy, and he actually has some new attachment pieces. So a big improvement actually from this. Plus the coloring looks a little bit better. I mean, this one was kind of shiny in some areas and really dark brown and stuff. So improvements on this one. So that is pretty cool. So if you missed out on that 3-pack, which I know a lot of people did, because it was a Toys R Us exclusive, and then like places like EE ended up getting it and stuff, but it was one of those weird ones where Toys R Us had shut down. Nobody really knew what was going to be going on. It was just kind of a crazy time. But anyway, looking at the back of the package, the artwork of Groot looking pretty cool. The bio goes into super length detail of what Groot is really all about. As you can see here, it says, "I am Groot." And then in various different languages, which I can't read, except I can read the Yo Soy Groot, at least. The Build-A-Figure Korg, we've looked at all the figures in the wave. Next video will be Korg after this. But with that, let's get Groot out of the box. And to show you guys how this is, because out of the package, when I first got it, I didn't realize that he had two attachment pieces in place of his hands, because you couldn't see the other one. It was completely hidden by the package. It wasn't until the official announcement of the figures that I actually saw that he had two pieces instead of just the one, so it was hidden in the package. Okay, so here is the Groot figure out of the package, and it's good. If you don't have this Infinity War version, I think this one's definitely a must pick up. If you have this one can be a pass, aside from needing the Korg Build-A-Figure, unless you're not looking to build Korg, then I guess it's not that big of a deal. While this is a nice upgrade, it's got some funky things to it. So with it being a smaller figure, you know, moving around and getting him to stand gets a little bit tricky with the way the articulation points are. The accessories are cool, but these things are all rubber. Like it's just crazy how soft these are. So you have to be careful with these, these pegs when swapping out the hands and things like that. Even the gun, it's kind of weird getting him to hold it, and because of no bicep swivel and things like that, it's hard to kind of get him to hold the gun for it to look good. I mean, you kind of have to fake it out a little bit. And whatnot. And then the other thing with the gun is it's all rubber. Even this is just super rubbery. What is this? I mean, usually with guns and stuff, it's usually a harder plastic, but for whatever reason, this guy it's kind of all rubber, it seems. So it's kind of funky, but this is essentially the same Groot figure that we got before. Updated paint scheme, right? So there's some green paint kind of in different areas, which we'll go over there. We'll take a closer look at that. But first, let's get the Korg Build-A-Figure piece out of the way. This is the last piece. It is on there. It doesn't look like the torso on this guy is turned around like the other Korg was in package when it was all funky. We'll stick this off to the side. We'll take a look at that in the next video. And let's get in for a closer look at these accessories, which are pretty cool, even though they're freaking rubber, man. It's just weird. Okay, so here's this first attachment piece, and this is really cool. I really like the way these are. It's just, they're just super rubbery. I mean, every bit of it is rubbery. and stuff. And I guess for this one, it kind of makes sense. You know, you're not going to want a harder plastic, especially with some of these thin pieces and stuff. Like they even did like leaves on there, which are kind of crazy. But it's all pretty cool. Just brown with a little bit of green for vines and things like that in there. There is the peg, and you can see it does have a hinge, so you can hinge it on there. So that is pretty cool. That's one piece, and you can put this on the right or the left, depending on how you want to do it. We get this other one that's just kind of sticks straight out. Again, it's super rubbery there, but not lots of nice sculpted details. We get some leaves in there. If it was a harder plastic, you know, they wouldn't have been able to do like these leaves and stuff. They just break off super easy. So I guess that's one benefit, but it's still weird. The wrist peg on there, and it is hinged, so you can hinge it, and it'll actually stay in some of those ways that you want to do that. Out of the package, or in the package, he also has this trigger finger hand, so you get one extra interchangeable hand so he can hold the blaster gun. The blaster gun looks cool. Nice sculpted detail in there. I like it. The color is okay. It's not that cheap-ass gray plastic that I like. It's a darker color, so I can live with that. There is a peg hole there at the barrel, so you could, you know, pour it in like a smoke effect or something there. So that looks pretty good. And now it's time for Groot. Okay, and here's a close-up look at the Groot figure. And the head sculpt is a huge improvement over the previous one. Like, it's just weird. And part of the problem with this one is the way they did the eyes. They did black eyes with gold pupils in there, or not pupils, whatever the round part is. Not the circular part. It's just the paint on the eyes looked weird. The sculpt of it was okay until you get to this new one. It's like, oh, well, damn, they can go even further with the bark texture, right? And make it even better. So we have that little bit of foliage growing on the top, but on this one we get a couple of different spots, and they got this like spiral design inside the top of the head, whereas this one just kind of looked like that. So yeah, the head sculpt is a huge improvement and just looks really good. I like the facial expression compared to the "Ooh, I'm sad Groot," or he would still, I guess, say, "I am Groot," and he would say, "I am Groot," but you know, more confident like. But yeah, looks really good. Green paint in some areas you can see on the hand, there on the shoulders, the chest, the torso, arms, a little bit on the back of the arms too, so that's actually pretty good. Normally you wouldn't see that. The legs didn't really get any green paint on the back of the figure though. On the front, just a little bit there on his right leg. Actually, there it is, very little on the left leg as well. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on there. Different shades of brown. As you can see, it's a much lighter color. And I like the lighter color a little bit better. But yeah, let's zoom out and see how he moves. Okay, so Groot is highly articulated for a tree, but in terms of Marvel Legends, he's kind of subpar, or, you know, not all the points of articulation that we are necessarily used to. He can look up only so much. He can look down a crazy amount, though. Let's see if we can... Yeah, that's all he can look up. It is on a disc hinge. You get some pivot going on in there. You get a full rotation. So you can give off some attitude, you know, as Teen Groot would. The arms, and the whole thing is actually pretty rubbery. Like, look at the arm, upper arm could bend out. But you can get the shoulder to go straight out. You get a full rotation. There is no bicep swivel, so that makes it a little bit tricky with the gun. We have a single jointed elbow with the swivel at the elbow as well. So you only get like 90 degrees. That might even be slightly under 90 degrees. So that kind of sucks. Wrists swivel, and they do hinge. We got the horizontal hinge on all three of the hands. We have a diaphragm cut. Is it really a diaphragm cut? Yeah, it is. So, man, pivoting to the side, not a whole lot. Pivot to the other side, not a whole lot. Pivot back. Yeah, it doesn't really pivot back, I would say. Unless it's just kind of shaped funky, but... so it either goes there or really there. It doesn't have a whole lot to it, but you have a swivel at that diaphragm cut there. Legs go out that far apart, and the legs are kind of rubbery too, so kind of be careful with that. He can kick forward that much. The leg goes back slightly, no thigh cut or anything, but you have a swivel at the knee. The single jointed knee, so you're only going to get that much bend. There, the foot, they're kind of large, but you do get a decent hinge going down a little bit, up a little bit. You do have ankle pivot and peg holes at the bottom of the feet, though. It does get tricky when trying to use that ankle pivot, though. I mean, you have to have it, like if you have it hinged all the way up, you can work it really well. But if it's just kind of flat, it's not as easy to kind of work around. I mean, to get it flat, you have to have like really spread out to do it. But I mean, decent articulation. I guess you can't really expect too much from a figure like this. But there it is. Okay, so for the side-by-side comparison, this one feels like a much sturdier figure, so I kind of would have liked the harder plastic, but this one just looks a whole hell of a lot better. But let's see how this Groot looks to the other Groot figures that we got for the MCU. It's a little bit crazy to think that these are all of the Groot figures that we have for the MCU. There is one other Groot Marvel Legends figure that came in the Guardians of the Galaxy box set that was exclusive to Entertainment Earth. It's essentially this Groot figure with the different Groot head. I don't know if it's the King Groot, but it's got, you know, the crazy branched head and everything like that. But yeah, these are the MCU Groot figures, and they're all really nice. If you don't have a Groot figure, one of these bigger ones, either the original Build-A-Figure in that very first Guardians of the Galaxy wave, or the Evolution of Groot figure that we got here, man, you're missing out, because those are an awesome figure. I'm definitely appreciating having it pulled out. I haven't looked at it in a long time, but looking at it now, having it in front of me, I'm like, man, that was a really nice figure. And it's cool that we got all these little guys. We got the Potted Groot, the Baby Groot, the Ravager Groot, Teen Groot, and then I guess would this still be Teen Groot? Ravager? I don't know what we would call this one. We'll see in the movie. I know there was something about Vin Diesel saying Alpha Groot, but this just doesn't really scream Alpha Groot to me. But, you know, I don't know. We'll see. I'm sure we'll see these three characters all on screen together. So the Ravager, Thor, Star-Lord, and Groot coming together. Who knows if we'll see some other Guardians of the Galaxy figures release. You know, we haven't seen any Target or Walmart exclusive figures for the movie. Target is getting that deluxe Ragnarok figure. So maybe that's the tie-in and there won't be anything. I'm just thinking, you know, like Thena, Ajax, exclusive Walmart, Target. And then like Doctor Strange got the Defender Strange. And then like What If got Captain Carter, the stealth suit. Loki got Morbius. Shang-Chi got Katie. So we'll see. I'm hoping to see what other figures that we could possibly get from Thor Love and Thunder. And you can see that Groot is actually pretty close in height to King Valkyrie and the Mighty Thor, but he definitely is shorter. Okay, and to round out the rest of the wave, here is Groot next to the armored Thor and the Gore, the God Butcher figure. And you can see that Gore is taller than Groot. Gore hasn't been taller than a whole lot of the figures in this wave, has he? So I can't wait for the movie. When does it come out? I think in July. I'm really excited. I'd like to see a full-on trailer instead of just the teaser trailer, because I was a little disappointed in the teaser trailer. I think just because of the hype, the anticipation, the expectation. The movie's so close and we're getting the trailer super late. I watched it a few times. It did grow on me. It did kind of get a little bit more hyped for it. But I want to see more. That's, you know, I want to see more. Hopefully we get to see more relatively soon. I think once the Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness movie comes out, then we will probably get a full-on trailer. But, you know, time will tell. We shall see. Okay, so before I close out this video, we're going to just pop out the hands, super easy. And again, these pieces are super rubbery, so what you really want to do is you want to hold close to the peg to put that in. You don't want to force it from super far and then stuff starts kind of bending around and things, so you want to be careful with that. But you can see the hinge works out well here. So you can put that on the left arm, or you can put it on the right arm. It's completely up to you. You get to choose. They're kind of modular in that sense. So you can move that around. And we get the long, straight out piece. And you can do that. And again, this is hinged, so you can hinge it around a little bit, depending on, you know, what you want to do. If you want it to look a little menacing, like Bring It On, right? You can do stuff like that. But pretty cool. But again, the key thing is to hold it close to the peg to port it into the wrist, and then to remove it, you don't want to pull from over here. You want to pull it close to that peg as well. But they peg in nicely, but again, I'd be careful because they are soft and rubbery. Okay, so that's my review on Groot. I think it's a pass for a lot of folks if you're happy with the Infinity War version. Although this one is a big improvement, we get added pieces, it's still essentially a repaint, and there's not necessarily a need to have a brand new one. But again, it is better, it is upgraded. How big of a role he'll play in the movie, we don't know. Probably not very big. I don't think the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Ravagers or whoever are going to play that big of a role in it. But this one and the Star-Lord figure were the cheap figures to produce for this wave, whereas we get 2 Thors, 3 Thors, Valkyrie, and Gore. We got 5 figures with all new sculpting, 6 if you count the Build-A-Figure. Some repaints were bound to happen, so Groot and Star-Lord, those were the ones that got the repaint treatment, but at least there's some new stuff here, and including some new stuff with Star-Lord that it makes them feel a little bit different. But for some folks, I think it's going to be a pass. But you guys let me know in the comments below. Are you picking it up? Are you passing? Let me know in the comments below. If you guys liked the video, please do me a favor and hit that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you haven't already done so. And as always, thank you for watching.